Hey everyone, Seb Pearson here for another Empower Conditioning Technique Tuesday. Tonight we're going to be doing the first part of our jump mechanics series, and we're talking about landing mechanics. So before any of your athletes start any sort of high intensity jumping or plyometrics, it's really important that they master the landing mechanics, because typically it's during the landing when most injuries for athletes occur. So some of the things you need to watch out for when your athletes are working on their landing mechanics is, first off, a quad dominant landing position. Now this is characterized by the knees being projected out over the toes. Now this puts the athlete in a compromised position because the hamstring is unable to support the ACL and relieve some of that stress coming down from the jump. So the next position we need to be aware of is the knee valgus position. Now this is when the athlete lands and the knees move medially to the midline of the body. As a part of this results in an internal rotation of the tibia and overpronation of the foot. And this puts the ACL in a further compromised position. The knee valgus position is typically an indication of weak lateral hip musculature, typically things like the glute med. So proper landing techniques involves an initial absorption of force through the feet and the ankles. But once that's occurred, what needs to happen is an actual shift of the hips back, reducing the angle of the shins and allowing more force to go through the heels. And this also allows for more involvement of the hamstring to pull back on the tibia and reduce the stress on the ACL. By training this landing position with your athletes, it's actually going to make them more efficient, because once they're in this good landing position, it's actually going to reduce their ground contact time because they're already in a good position to proceed to their next jump. So with their hips back, they can utilize the powerful muscles of the posterior chain like the glutes and the hamstrings to, once they've landed, immediately proceed into the next jump. Some of the exercises that we use to teach proper landing mechanics are things like the drop squat. So the drop squat's an exercise that requires a rapid movement from a standing position to the bottom position of a squat without any sort of wavering up and down. So to do this, you're going to set your feet slightly wider than shoulder width apart. You're going to stand with your hands roughly around your hips, and from this position you're going to lift your feet quickly off the ground, not really jumping, but also so finishing at the bottom position of the squat. Thighs parallel to the floor, right? Hips back. Have a look. If you can see your toes, you're in a good position. If not, you've landed in a quad dominant position. So it should look a little something like this. See my toes? I stand up. So the next exercise we like to use is the depth drop. For the depth drop, we need a small box or a step like this one. So how this exercise works is you're going to get on top of the box, you're going to stand at the edge, and all you're going to do is take a step off the box. You're not going to jump off the box, and you're not going to step down from the box. You're going to step off, and as you step off with one leg, you're then going to bring the other one side by side with your other leg, and then land in a strong position. Again, hips back, hold the position at the bottom, don't waver up and down. Have a look. If you can see your toes, right, then you're in a good position. And if not, you're in a quad dominant position and need to adjust your hips. So it should look a little something like this. Okay, everybody, thanks for watching. Make sure you stay tuned for part 2, and don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram.